Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense. Now, listen, I say welcome back to Counterculture, welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, welcome back to Simple Truth, welcome back. I can't make up a different welcome back, right? But we're glad that you are back. Revamp Nightly Nonsense. I teased a new background. Here's the problem. When you're doing these in succession and your poor producer is sitting here and that person, is trying to play catch up and keep everything, it's really hard. And they have a lot of work to do. So you should pray for the producers down here at Trash Ministries because they really do work hard at trying to accomplish that which is almost incomplishable with me, right? I want to make up a word there, and I might just have. But hey, Nightly Nonsense, the revamped version, same shirt, same guy, same background. Maybe next time you'll have to just keep tuning in to figure it out. Listen, literally before I went on the air, read a Fox News alert on the Hoover Dam. Right? I don't know what's going to happen with that, right? But here's what I read, right? An explosion, smoke at the Hoover Dam, right? Some tourist guy with his phone took the picture of the Hoover Dam smoking, right? Now, let's make this clear. I was talking about this with some friends earlier, and I want to use this, right? There are multiple people at the Hoover Dam right now. And there are multiple people, millions of people who just got that news alert, right? About the Hoover Dam. I want you to understand, right, that perception of an event differs greatly, right? Two people experiencing the exact same thing. And one person is at the Hoover Dam going, oh, must be they were doing a planned smoke detector thing, right? They're looking at it and going like, hey, this is a planned thing, not paying any attention. Another guy's looking at it and going, this isn't normal. The Hoover Dam doesn't normally blow up and there isn't smoke coming out of it. There must be something really, really wrong. Now I'm going to get really excited because let me tell you what I think about this, right? The guy who has said they must know what they're doing, this is normal, he's going to stand there, keep taking pictures, keep walking around. And what happens if the dam breaks? Oh, what's going to happen to him? He is going to get washed away, right? He's going to have to, in a second's notice, try to get out of trouble, right? The guy who notices that, hey, there's something wrong with this whole picture, he's already making plans to get out of there, right? He's making plans to be like, there's something wrong here. I need to move. I need to get away from here. I need to figure this out, right? Do you know how spiritual that is, man? There are so many things in our life that God wants us to take notice of and go, there's something wrong here. There's just something wrong here. Notice that over the last couple of years, been going through this whole ear ringing things at times, right? Different people, right? Do you know what an ear ringing thing does? It just gets you to notice that there's something a little off. There's something wrong, right? You're looking at things and you're going, what's wrong? What's wrong with this picture? God just wants you to take notice. Most of the time, I don't even know what's going on, right? But I just know something's off, right? So you look at this whole thing, and from a spiritual aspect, I said, what are the things that God wants you to just take notice of? And there's just something wrong, right? We're trained to do that if we're in a grocery store and some guy is grabbing some kid by the arm and screaming, and the kid starts screaming, "You're not my dad," type of thing, and they're running out the, we're trained like that's wrong. Like we know something's wrong right there. But do you know how many times we see something wrong and we just rationalize that, well, that must be okay. They must know what they're doing, right? It used to be that when somebody got a flat tire, they'd pull off the side of the road. You'd see 5 cars stop to try to help them. Like, are you all right? Do you want to make sure? Now, do you know the funny part is we just assume that everybody has roadside assistance. Everybody just has a phone. Everybody's just going to be okay. We see something wrong. We just assume it's all going to be okay. Do you know that God warns us about that here in the last days? God says, listen, when you start seeing these signs, you better start paying attention. You better start knowing that something's wrong. When you start seeing earthquakes ramp up, and when you start seeing volcano stuff, and when you start seeing floods, and when you start seeing pestilence and plagues, and when you start seeing stuff, you need to know something is a little bit off. Pay attention. Pay attention to the signs is what Jesus said, right? Not panic and pay attention. Pay attention. Start knowing. Like, we know we're living in a time right now where there's just some goofy things. We're starting to see food shortages. We're starting to see gas prices go up. We've seen all kinds of different things that are way out of the norm for where they were a year ago. Now, we can blame the presidency, we can blame politicians and blame all kinds of people for it, but that's not what God asks you to do. God doesn't say, when you see plague and pestilence and floods, and start blaming people. No, God says, when you start seeing these things, know the end is near. Know that things are happening. Right? We need to know, pay attention and know that, hey, something is just not right. Read that the water from the Hoover Dam provides clean water for 20 million people. 20 million. Is it significant if something were to happen to that dam? Yep. Scrap the flood that would happen if it started leaking. But 20 million people, 20 million people would have a problem. No drinking water. That is super, super significant, right? So when we notice something is a little off, maybe God's trying to tell us that, hey, a bunch of people are about to be affected by something. Do we care? Or do we look at it and say, like, nah, they got it all. It's okay. Don't worry about it. How many times has God tried to warn you, tell you something's off, something's not right, something's different, something's, and you just said, yeah, no, it'll be okay. Listen, lots of stories throughout history of men, women, and children who have noticed something's off, have reported it to somebody, and saved lives. They saved lives. Not just because they were watching for something, like when the British were coming, because when they noticed something was off, just normally they went and said, hey, something's just wrong. So here's what I want to challenge you with tonight on Nightly Nonsense. I want you to be more in tune with what God's trying to tell you. Is he trying to tell you that something's just off with you? Your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Is he trying to tell you, like, hey, something's wrong in a bigger picture? Something's wrong over here. What's he trying to tell you? And are you just pushing it off and saying, nope, it'll all be okay, they got it all under control? Or are you taking notice of it? Listen, there are a lot of people that have been preaching lately that change is coming. Change is coming, right? And there's a lot of people on the flip side of that are like, no. God would never do that again. God's never doing that. God will never. Whenever somebody starts speaking in absolutes, you should take notice. God speaks in absolutes, but there are lots of times in the Bible where it looks like God's absolute got changed, right? We want to pay attention to what God is doing and the warnings that he's given us so that we're not caught unaware. So let me leave you with this imagery. Two men looking at the Hoover Dam, taking pictures. One takes a picture, notices something's wrong, and immediately starts to run away. The other one takes a picture, notices something's wrong, and stands there to take a bunch more pictures with his family. What happens if the dam breaks? Both men were warned something was wrong, something was off. One man and his entire family may suffer for that, while the other man and his family might get to safety. Which man, which family are you part of? Are you listening to the warnings of God? Or are you not? Hey, we'll see you next time. Nightly Nonsense. Maybe a new background. Maybe a different shirt. Probably not. Talk to you later.